Guys, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And then there's some over here. It's like little girls. It's like little girls dancing in the streets, and their parents brought them here to dance in the streets. Is that creepy or what? What is up, you guys? So today is an awesome day. It's a Sunday morning. I'm feeling extremely relaxed because yesterday, Saturday, pretty much chilled all day. We went touring like in the north of Medellin, walking around, chilling, and then we ended off the night with like a long walk throughout the neighborhood, seeing all the loud music and the clubs and like street artists and dancers, and then had a delicious dinner. And then like, oh my god, I had the best sleep last night. It was great. It was a great day. And today I'm feeling like really good, inspired, getting back to work. And then this week, like in a few days, we're gonna go to a mountain village, which I'm really excited about showing you guys. I'm excited about seeing myself. And yeah, this is the dream life. It's a dream life, really. And you know, I really hope to talk about like how I did it and how to do it on my real estate channel, because I feel like this channel is more just like personal, emotional stuff. And I don't want to mix too much money on this channel anymore, because I've done it for a while and I got burned out. And so I want to kind of separate like money and survival with this whole like personal off the derech, like personal development stuff. So anyway, I want to get into the video. The video is called, I forgot what the name of this video is called, but it's about imposter syndrome and trying to be normal when you are off the derech. So here's a news flash that I'm going to share with you guys. Anyone who's off the derech or in the derech, you know, Orthodox Jewish, and thinking about leaving, and if you are thinking that you ever want to be normal and have a normal life, newsflash, you are never going to be normal. Like, no matter how far you go off the derech, no matter how much you try, you are never going to be normal. Like, you could pretend to be normal, but you're never going to be normal. And that's okay. And you know what? In fact, do you even want to be normal? Like, you know, you can be normal, like you can adapt to being normal to like other communities. The only way that you're going to be normal is if you stay Orthodox Jewish, you stay in your community, and you keep going along with everybody else, what everyone's doing. You're going to be normal to your community, because normal is relative to your community, right? But if you leave the Orthodox community, you're going to be in such a different place no matter where you go. Even if you were to like join an Amish community or become Mormon or like become like Christian, Seventh-day Adventist, and try to live as similarly to Orthodox Judaism as possible, you're still not going to be normal. Unless you stay Orthodox Jewish, unless you don't go off the derech, you're not going to be normal. So that's just something I want to share with people, because you know, I see people talking about like, oh, I just want to like go off the derech, and you know, I don't want to bother anybody, I just want to live a normal life. You're not going to live a normal life. You're not going to be normal. But that's fine. You might live a life that you like or love, and I love my life right now. But anyway, not to make this all about me, like, you might actually love your life and not care if you're not normal. But you're just probably not going to be normal, because the thing is, when you grow up Orthodox, when you grow up in a way that is so different from the secular, mainstream, connected world, it's like that if you're Amish. If you grow up Amish and then all of a sudden you're out in the world and you're adjusting to like secular lifestyle, you're not going to be normal either. Even if you know, because the difference between someone that is off the derech, ex-Orthodox Jewish, And when I talk about Orthodox Jewish, really, I'm talking actually about ultra-Orthodox Jewish, like sheltered. If you're sheltered and you grew up in going to Beis Yaakov, or going to like some, being part of some kind of yeshivish community, and if you know what I'm talking about. Very sheltered, a little bit culty. Sorry if you don't think it's culty, but anyway, like the difference between someone that grew up yeshivish, ultra-Orthodox, and someone that grew up like very connected to the mainstream secular world is that the person that grew up in the mainstream secular world is going to have a sense of what normal is. If you grew up ultra-Orthodox Jewish, like even if later on in life you decide that you want to be part of the global mainstream secular world, and you want to you're going to learn exactly how they talk and try to sound like them, and exactly how people dress, and you're going to try to be as normal as you can. You just didn't grow up with a sense of what normal is. So 9 times out of 10, you're gonna you might try to adapt, and a lot of people adapt really well. You're gonna be like a chameleon. You're gonna totally know how to talk and sound normal, but you're not gonna have a sense of what normal is because you didn't grow up with it. So you didn't grow up, you weren't raised thinking that that is normal, that you have to fit into that culture. So there's 9 times out of 10, there's gonna be situations where you're inevitably gonna offend someone. You're gonna say something off, socially off. You're gonna say things or do things that other people will be way too embarrassed to do, but you're gonna do it not because you don't care what anybody thinks. It's not because you don't have imposter syndrome, or you're just so brave, or you're autistic. People have told me that they thought that I was on the spectrum. It's not because you're on the spectrum. It's not because you don't care what anybody thinks. It's because you don't know what normal is. You don't know what the expectations are. You don't have a sense of this. You don't have a sense. It's you could try to learn as much as you can, but it's just not intuitive for you. That's the difference between somebody that grew up ultra-Orthodox Jewish and somebody that grew up in the secular mainstream world. Somebody that grew up connected to the world's culture. You know what I mean? The same way that you see immigrants. Let's say somebody that grew up, let's say somebody that grew up with no internet and grew up in the mountains of the Andes, Quechua, right? Someone that grew up totally disconnected from the secular lifestyles and the world at large, or someone that grew up off the grid, or homeschooled off the grid, and then all of a sudden you introduce them into mainstream internetized culture, and that person is inevitably going to do things, say things, act in a way that in some way offends people. They're not going to have a sense for it. So they might be really sharp. You might be very sharp coming out of the ultra-Orthodox Jewish community. Those kids tend to be very sharp, sharper than me. I'm definitely one of the dumber ones, but they're very, very sharp kids that come out of the ultra-Orthodox Jewish community. So they're gonna adapt really well. They're gonna pick up everything very quickly. They're gonna learn how to they're gonna learn math. They're gonna learn how to speak your language. They're gonna be super well versed in everything, but there's still always gonna be something off. There's always gonna be some kind of faux pas, and oftentimes they're gonna fixate on a certain community or a certain lifestyle, and they're gonna become really good at it. They're gonna become even better and more normal than everybody in that community. So normal, in fact, that it's not normal. So I'm just making this video to let you know, if you're off the derech, or you're thinking about going off the derech, and you want to be normal, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry to break it to you. No matter how normal you think you're going to be, you're not going to be normal. But also, that's fine. Live the life that you want to live. Just be okay with the fact that you might be a little different, and it's fine. Because you know what? You know what the difference between a 1%er and the rest of the population that are not very wealthy or successful is. The difference between 1%ers, highly skilled, highly wealthy people, and everybody else, those people usually they have characteristics and traits that nobody else has. They're willing to do things that nobody else is willing to do. When I entered into politics and I went viral when I first entered politics at like 20, because I was ultra-Orthodox back then. When I first started, I was ultra-Orthodox, and I was kind of like, I was already breaking so many rules of my community by joining in politics and being open and vocal about and writing and being crazy and doing something that wasn't conventional for my community. So like, I didn't have a sense of like what the internet world wanted to hear and what was okay and not okay to say. So I was saying all these like politically incorrect things. For me, it wasn't weird at all. I didn't think that I was doing anything different, but I was willing to say and do things that other people weren't willing to say and do, and that's what got me famous. Sorry. So that's a good thing, because if you're willing to say and do things that other people aren't willing to say and do, that automatically places you in the minority of people that are like, that makes you a 1%er. That makes you have something in common with very well. So if you want, you can do anything with it. That's power. If you want to be a 1%er, like wealth-wise, for me that was a big thing. I wanted to make a lot of money and be powerful and F off to my jungle. Like, if you want to be a 1%er financially and make all the money in the world and not care about what anybody thinks, you can do that, because you have that weirdness. You have it. It's inherent. And like, you know, if you want to be like, I've seen people go off the derech, and I have a friend that I went to high school with. I don't even know if she even watches these videos. She started this polygamous like cult or like religion or something. I don't even know what it is. It might just be like a therapy group, but it's a polygamous like therapy group, and polyamorous. I don't know the difference between polygamous and polyamorous. And they basically just like dress naked all the time, and they wear like glittery stuff on their faces, and they travel the world, and they go to like music festivals, and they get high and they dance and get naked, and it's just really weird. It's weird. And like, she started this collective group, and she's kicking ass at it. She's like it's almost scary. She's like a cult leader now, and she's a year younger than me, and she started this huge thing. And like, nobody that grew up normal would be brave enough to do that, but she was able to do that because like, she doesn't have a sense of what normal is. She didn't grow up with it, and there's nothing wrong with her brain. She just didn't grow up with a sense of what normal is. There's a lot of different examples of this. People that go off the derech, it's a thing. And oftentimes you'll see people that will try to that will totally blend in, but the more you talk to them, the more you get to know them, and you hear about their background, you're like, well, this person doesn't actually think normally. This person's trying to be normal, but they're just not normal. And that's why, and that's why they have certain superpowers. To them, they might think it's a certain weakness, but it's not. It's a superpower. And so this doesn't only apply to people that grew up in the ultra-Orthodox Jewish community. It applies to anybody that grew up a little bit differently or feels imposter syndrome. Your imposter syndrome, like, you have no idea that it's such a strength. So anyway, that's why I made this video, and I'm gonna go and chill a little bit and see you guys later.